Okay. So, first of all, this is actually something I need to get figured out. So, I have to pick two majors and a minor
Why did you do two majors?
because that's like the program that I'm doing. So, I don't have to pick one. So, I have all of these options. And I need to figure. Can you see it at all?
History, philosophy, religion, biomedical science, physics, anthropology. What about the environmental one? So,
Yeah. So, basically, I'm trying to figure out between all of these, I have to pick two majors, one minor. And I have no idea. So, yeah. What's your, do you have a minor in photography?
no, I can either choose a minor, or I can choose like 15 credits worth of classes and like create my own minor.
That's kind of like what I'm doing, pretty much. Because like you basically create your own like major with multiple like separate things. My goal is to make it like since I have three things, my goal is to have each one of them be like completely different, you know? So then it's more interesting over time. Like I'm thinking about doing design and philosophy and maybe physics, maybe history. I don't know. Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out through that list. What have you been doing? Just being sick?
Um, well, yeah, and then I have a midterm that's due tomorrow.
Or do you have to
And
go
then,
somewhere to take it?
no, it's like a paper I have to write.
Really? So you don't have to actually go. So when you were texting me, you meant like you have to write a paper today.
Yeah,
Not
because I
like
need it. I want to start like ASAP.
you haven't started the midterm and it's due today and it's a
Well, it's not a
paper.
paper. It's like three different sections, and like there's like four questions that are 200 words long, and then the second section is like system like I have.
Yeah, yeah, I know. I was telling you,
Yeah,
this is it would have been using, but you copied me. It's funny because I was buying a mug at Walmart, and this was literally the cheapest one you can possibly
yeah,
find.
yeah,
It's also funny we
anyway,
got the same color too.
yeah. And then the second section is like 500 words, I believe,
Hmm.
and then the last section it's like 900 words.
Yeah, that's
So
gonna take
basically,
a while. And
yeah,
don't you have to,
basically, I'm basically writing like 10 different papers or whatever.
not 10, because
Or
the
like
first ones are just like 300 words. So that's just like questions.
200.
200, yeah. Yeah, that's just like an extended response. But like the long ones are probably where it's tough. Like the last one is probably really hard. What's the class about?
It's history of film after the mid-century.
Hmm. So do you think you're gonna have an easy time writing it or no?
I mean, there's big, but it's like easy. It's like it's fine. It's like I know the work and everything.
Hmm.
But it's just like so time consuming
Yeah, yeah.
that
Because
it's just like annoying.
like
Because I
I
like doing
yeah, like my American government class, like we have to write essays, and it's weird. Like it's like I'm fine with like talking about the topic and stuff, but physically writing like 800 words about this topic and like going into detail about like different philosophies of how the government should work is it's hard to do when you're just like sitting in your desk.
Or some topics. There's like it's easier to write about some things than easier to talk about.
Yeah, yeah, especially probably if you're just interested in the topic. Like I'm sure if I had to write about like theory of music, it'd be easier than this American government. Which also, I'm gonna like
Well,
start skipping the class and not going because it's just propaganda. It's just like American
is
propaganda, and I hate it so much. I can't stand being in the class anymore. And
is
what?
is attendance is attendance like mandatory? Do they take?
Yeah, yeah, we can only miss 5 days, but I'm just gonna start missing maybe every day and just do the work, not go to class. Because like I like the teacher, but he's like a liberal guy, and basically, if you imagine Miles teaching an American government class, it's like
Oh,
that.
Miles would be worse.
Wait, what?
I feel like Miles would be worse.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. You're right. Because this
Probably,
guy, he's like an academic, so he like knows how to be more like scientific about like how he talks about like the philosophy of it, but it's still just like
well, also
propaganda.
I feel like Miles knows the like amount of politics compared to like because I'm sure he's done like a bunch of research and everything.
Yeah, yeah, like they pretty much what he talks about. Miles and him probably have like the similar understandings, which also have the same like philosophical standings too, which irks me because like I politically disagree with Miles, and it feels like Miles is teaching my class. And I know I always want to like talk and talk to the teacher and disagree with him and like talk to him about stuff, but I never do because usually I just sit there in silence and think like, fuck, I should just leave right now.
Well, actually, what's interesting about say in my film class, we watched this film called The Red Desert and stuff.
Wait, what was it
It's
called?
The Red Desert.
Okay.
And it's kind of this one kid had a take that it's like about the effects of capitalism and infrastructure and um what's the word? Not institution, industrialization.
Hmm.
It's like it's a uh, like story on that kind of. And he
It's
was
like
saying that like,
symbolically about that.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Because this like woman, she has like this trauma and mental illness and everything, and like she's surrounded by all these like factories and industry around her, and it's like literally poisoning the air and stuff.
That's pretty
Like her
much how
son,
it is now.
yeah. And he was like saying that what's he saying? That, like mental illness, it's like so prevalent now because it's so because even that is industrialized with like medication and everything.
This is
And
a
like we
story or
don't
is it real? Because it sounds like it's just about
no
real
no
life.
no no we were the film, it's a fiction. But this is what this
Really?
kid was they're
Uh,
like talking about the film. And he was like saying that if if we fit our society to our like mental needs, we wouldn't have
it feels like
mental
Bob
illness.
Dylan is talking to me right now.
It wouldn't wait, what
I
is Bob Dylan?
don't even know.
Do you get what I'm saying? Like every
Yeah, I just don't know the movie, so I don't know how it relates to like
well,
what
I
the kid was
remember
talking about.
I saw, and then he said something like oh, I just lost it. Oh wait, no. If we like is with like people with ADHD, for instance, like they can't focus and they're really like hyper and everything. But since our society doesn't fit with that, we say it's a mental illness.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
That's what I was understanding.
that makes sense. Hmm.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Did you like the movie?
Um, well, with like certain movies, like when I'm watching it, I don't really like it because it's like boring and you know what's happening or like anything like that. But then after the movie, when we're talking about it, um, I liked the I liked it a lot more and I like appreciated it a lot more with like the symbolism and everything.
Hmm. You know what that reminds me of? Like when you see a movie in a TV show or in a movie, like the characters are watching a movie or something, and you don't have any context for that movie, but it's just like they're in the middle of watching a movie. So my understanding of it is just like watching movie characters like interact with each other, but having no context whatsoever what the movie is about. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why my brain thought of like that, but yeah. Um, I'm gonna see how long I can be silent for. No, I don't know what to fucking talk about.
I didn't make any chocolate points at all.
I think I might have. I might have one. Let me check. Bro, I've been going so heavy into like conspiracy theory shit. But the problem is that, so remember the guy I told you about, Kurt Metzger, who I've been listening to?
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, like he like repeats himself about the topics because like when he's on he'll just go on like any podcast, and when he's on there, he'll kind of tell the people because it's always different people because it's different podcasts. So he'll repeat telling people about like things he's seen. So since watching his like interviews on podcasts, I know like most of what he knows about like the deep state and like aliens and shit like that. But yeah, I'm trying to find something. Did you watch the episode I sent you, the telepathy tapes one with that woman?
Watched watched the I just went to the timestamp recently.
Hmm. And did you watch like
About
10
um
seconds or what?
watched I just like did it until like they stopped talking about ayahuasca.
Hmm. Yeah, if you kept watching, it was even crazier than that because I don't know if I want to spoil it. Do you want me to just say it or do you want to watch it?
Um
Because there's like something crazy that she was talking about that I
sure,
want to mention. Okay.
just don't.
So so she was talking about nonverbal autistic kids. They are so like not interacting with the world materially that they're like just in like the consciousness, like they're more in tune with the one like consciousness than like a normal person is. So so there's these like autistic nonverbal autistic children, and this lady who like researches them and studies them says that um they will go into a meditative state, and they were like astral project themselves to this place they call the hill, and they'll like it's basically like a center, like they meet each other there, they teach each other things, they talk about stuff, they talk about like bees, time travel, they talk about where they're from and shit. This is all just like nonverbal autistic kids all over the world individually going like learning how to just normally with their body, like interact with the other nonverbal autistic children without talking to because they can't talk, and they so the only way they get this social interaction is like telepathically with other um, nonverbal autistic children.
How can they do that without like
So basically, this woman was she studied this. She's been studying this, and she said that language, as we know it today, is only a form of entertainment.
yeah, because
Right now when I'm speaking, I'm entertaining you by the tone of my voice, by the timbre, and by the speed, the pace of my voice. So like all of those things combine for entertainment to entertain each other with speaking. And she said the goal of speaking is to pass along information, obviously. And since these children are nonverbal autistic, they don't know how to, they can't control their bodies. They have this thing, I think it was aphylaxia or something. They don't have ability to physically control their bodies, like what they do, or control their voices, like their voice. So so like they are telepathic, and apparently everybody is. And we're just so used to communicating like this that we've lost
oh
like
yeah.
touch with the sense of with such like a strong sense of telepathy between like living beings. And apparently, yeah, through just meditation and focus, you can tap back into that sense. Also, it works both ways too. Like the teachers and parents and just guardians, like people who are in the lives of like special needs children, they will literally like hear telepathically like the kids talking to them, and they don't even know the kids can't even talk. So they like the idea is like, how do they even know that that is the kid talking to them? It's because like the soul is like an essence of your being, and it's not connected to your body, and it's so not connected to your body that your telepathic voice is like an individual marker for who it is. Like you can, if I could telepathically communicate with you just throughout your day, you would know it's Karu and not like somebody else because just because of the feeling. Because it's all about like feeling, you know. So yeah, I was just listening to that today, and that was fucking cool. That's also a reason why I wanted to leave class because I
Okay,
was
two,
like, fuck this.
okay, two things.
I was
One,
like, I was like, fuck this. I'm going to the hill. That's why I texted you. We're going to the hill.
um,
Yeah, yeah. Tell me.
because when I was watching it, because they're talking about, and I was going through the comments and everything, and they were talking about like,
You watched for 30 seconds and you only looked at the comments and not even just kept watching the video.
like I paused it after I watched like, because I was just wondering what the comments are saying, whatever. And
Hmm.
I was reading it, and they were talking about like parents and their non-verbal like kids and stuff. And I'm like, and I was like, do they give their kids ayahuasca to like?
No,
I thought
no,
that's
no.
what they're.
Yeah, no, that would be crazy too. Because like you've heard of parents medically dosing their kids with like herbal stuff. Like some families with children like this use cannabis because it like calms them down. You know. Um, I bet some have used ayahuasca, but yeah, no. Apparently, this is just like a natural ability, and it's
I
crazy thinking that the most like quote unquote retarded people in the world
like really take it
have
like
this, that they have that, you know, and they're like actually gods amongst men, which is it's
well,
so apt to like that's how it should be, you know.
but I also feel like once you're like, because if you've been nonverbal or like you do pick up on like body language and
Yeah, that's exactly what they
people.
do. And also just like the actual ability of communicating without like
What
think about animals. Like a pack of wolves, they will like flank animals and have strategic maneuvers when they're trying to hunt. And they do that through like some sort of like telepathic like connection with each other. Birds, when they migrate, they form patterns, they migrate in the same direction. They do that kind of the same way.
Mhm.
Fish have like magnetoreception. Like if you there's this special type of
Like
clothing.
echolocation.
What was it?
Isn't there something? Oh, that's wrong with the voice. So
Wait, what was it?
echolocation.
Oh yeah, they were talking about that too. Yeah. So basically just the idea is that if you take one sense away, everything else will like get better to compensate. So like these kids can't physically control their bodies or their voices. So they maybe their like body and brain and soul compensated by letting them be more open to telepathic communication,
Mm.
which is like pre-language. Like the craziest thing in the entire show. She said one of the kids she studied could read fucking hieroglyphs, like Egyptian hieroglyphs. And that's a dead language. Like nobody can, like almost nobody can read that. And this nonverbal like retard can read can read ancient Egyptian. So it's
Did he like learn it?
no
Or
no 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 just natural, just like he sees it and he says this is what it means. The researchers giving it to him said they couldn't give him stuff that they knew what it meant because he would read their mind and know what the hieroglyph meant from them, you know? So they had to give him hieroglyphs that they didn't know what it meant because only he knew. You know what I'm saying? Like that's crazy. Like imagine being a teacher, a school teacher, and the Timmy of the group starts telepathically communicating with you, and you're like, "What the fuck?" There was this English teacher, like English from England teacher, and apparently she does whole lessons where she telepathically teaches this one children in like it's so fucking crazy hearing about all that shit. It's really cool. I want to I think I'm gonna if when I have a wife and kids before the children are born, make the wife smoke packs a day to give this kid some kind of like Down syndrome thing. So then I can be telepathically communicating with them. It's called efficiency.
you can't just like meet one of those kids just to like.
No, 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 no. Okay. We're not amateurs here, Curry. We got to be professionals about this. But yeah. Now I want to go to the hill, and I want to. Apparently, that kid, this kid, they'll like do it by putting pillows around their head, and like putting a bunch of pillows around their head, so it's very quiet, and they just meditate. And if they go to such like a deep meditation and focus, they're in the hill, and it's like how one of them described it. They said was just a mound of thoughts. So imagine just your thoughts are in a mound of like the, the lady was saying because she asked one of the nonverbal kids, how many people attend this hill? Is it like 5 kids? Is it like 10 kids? Is it just like you and your friends? And he said it was 4,000 kids. So imagine 4,000 like of these retards. You know what I'm saying? They can't think. That's what people think. But in fact, they're actually just like out of their body, like physically somewhere else. So
Yeah.
crazy. Like
That's
if
what
you,
makes me think
yeah,
that also makes me think of like Helen Keller.
exactly. Yeah.
It's like she couldn't see or hear.
Yeah. What if she was just always somewhere else? You know what I'm saying?
What if she was like their god of the
Yeah.
hill?
Yeah. I bet there has to be like some
Her
older
joke just went,
oh I thought you were being serious. I was taking that seriously. But imagine like because they were saying they like teach each other. The kids will like teach each other things while they're in there. You know what I'm saying? All together, like 4,000 of them. So imagine like having a Plato or like an Aristotle that you could
mhm.
only get taught by in like the mental like school. That'd be crazy. They basically have like a superpower that like we don't
Yeah,
have. It's
yeah,
crazy. But yeah. So yeah, that's definitely the coolest thing I was hearing about today.
yep,
Carrie, can you telepathically read my mind? Because I feel like in the past I've been able to like maybe
yeah. I feel
twice
like
like send some message like without talking, and it's
yeah, I feel
worked.
like, well, I feel like when we like were younger and we like living together and everything, we could like think the same thing. You're like, you know what I mean?
You know what I was thinking about? What if the coffee mug, see the coffee mug? See how it looks kind of like a gun? What if, you know what I'm saying?
Or like even with like us buying the same mug without even
That is a
knowing it.
perfect example. Yeah. Yeah. Like, I remember when I saw that mug in the store, there was an aura around it. One of the things the lady was saying is that some of the kids, see, some of the kids see aura, which was funny. I almost laughed at that when she said that. But like, imagine like a physically glowing aura around things that nobody else sees, that only you see, and like the kids in the hill with you. You know what I'm saying? And one of them said they can feel the fucking vibrational frequency of rocks. So like like crystals and shit. Like apparently those have all like just like everything has a resonant vibrational frequency.
Yeah,
But apparently this kid can like it's soothing for him to feel the vibrations of the rocks. So he would his mom had what are those things called? Not elements, like those little rocks. Like they say they're magical. What are those called?
oh, like
Gem,
crystals or
yeah, crystals and gems and shit. So this kid's mom had them in like the bathroom, just like tucked away in the bathroom, like vanity mirror or whatever. And the kid comes home from school one day and immediately can like sense that the rocks are in the house and like something is he can like
that is
feel
weird.
something different. What?
That's weird.
For real, yeah. And then he found them like a fucking dog sniffing like for food. And then he found them, laid him like in a row next to his bed, and told his mom that he wanted to like feel the vibrations on his head. Like imagine how much senses you go through your day without experiencing them
Yeah.
that like people do experience. It's crazy. There's so many like extra sensory like stimuli that you could be feeling or seeing or hearing that you don't.
Hmm.
I wonder if they have crazy dreams, you know? Like you think a nonverbal autistic guy
Oh
has
yeah, on the hill, yeah. Sure they do.
for real, yeah, yeah.
Sure they dream about that.
Maybe they don't even need maybe the hill is like the best dream.
Yeah.
Like they just get to also apparently like there was this regular like neurotypical guy who wanted to study them, and he learned how to after like 3 5 tries of like learning trying to like meditate and go to the hill with the kids. He eventually figured out how to, and he said that it was quote unquote divinely protected, and you have to have like a pure spirit to like go on the hill. So it's like they might be heaven. These kids are all in heaven.
Is this like it's like otherworldly, like it's
Exactly, yeah. And it's crazy like that the people call them the scum of the earth, you know, and it's
yeah.
crazy they get to
It's
go
like
there.
it's or like people like normally think, oh, they can't like talk, so they're like
Hmm. Yeah,
not as
yeah,
intelligent, like has long information or like
yeah,
whatever. But it's like no, it's like the total opposite.
exactly.
I was thinking that
It's like how I see Carrie, you know. It's like it turns out she can read Egyptian hieroglyphics. What? I thought
I
she
was
had no theory of mind.
I was thinking about because remember we had that group in at our school.
You
Our
talking about
different
speech pathology?
what?
The speech pathologist, Carrie. Turns out those people, remember the speech pathologists we listened to? Bro, they get these telepathic like things happen to them all the time because they interact with these special needs kids. So imagine that lady. She probably had a telepathic encounter with one of the kids at our fucking school, and we had no clue until like today when I was thinking about that. Like imagine I was just what?
Like absolutely like hate her.
I remember there
Not the
was
middle school one, the
oh
elementary school one.
yeah, the elementary school one. I
Like,
think Miles was definitely like sending Nazi telepath communications to her, like I'm gonna
but
kill you.
like I remember, but I remember you like hated her or
Oh
something.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember hating her because I was like, "You're asking me to try to speak in a way my body can't. I have aphylaxia, don't you know? I'm lady, bitch. I'm on the hill. I'm on the hill, bitch."
I'm like I think you said something like stupid or whatever, or like might have said like hell or whatever
I said the word hell.
or something, and like she said it was like a bad word or something.
Uh,
I don't I don't remember.
well, I mean, she was right. I can't go to the hill without a pure soul, so I just had to listen to her.
No, it's just like funny because I remember you just like hated her.
Mhm. Bro, I remember just being such an angry child. My life has only gotten better, honestly.
Well, mine is actually flipped.
Really.
I
You
used to
were
be
happier.
I met
Really.
yeah, I used to be happier, but now I'm just like angry. Flipped.
I mean, that's probably because you're in Michigan and I'm
Yep.
in Florida. It's definitely it.
Yep.
But one day I was talking to Tocho and I was like, yeah, Carrie wants to move down here after college. She was like, really? And I was like, yeah.
Did she like say
Well,
anything?
at first she was like hesitant when I was telling her about it. And then I was like, well, yeah, I expect that she probably wants to come down here because she likes Florida. And then after a few years of like working here or something after college, I know she wants to go to New York or Los Angeles. And
You're
and
gonna give Treasure a heart attack saying
yeah,
that.
yeah, I'm trying to. I'm trying my
She's already
best.
she's already like
I was telling Chucho about the hill and everything, you know, and
she actually
no, that'd be very funny. I wish I called her
you
after
well,
I listened to that.
I wonder well, like about like Uncle John because he's like sleeping. He like sleeps like all the time, doesn't he?
You think Uncle John's on the hill? No, Carrie, this is for the non-verbal autistic community.
No, but you're gonna give Treasure a heart attack 'cause she's like scared of me even walking around
Well, no, I
campus.
was basically explaining it like imagine like Carrie wants to go chill with Carew for a couple of years, be like, yo, I'm in Florida, I can go to the beach. And then after a couple of years, she'll probably get bored, and then she wants to do bigger and better things. Because it's definitely better on her conscious if you imagine if you went directly to New York or Los Angeles out of college, then they
Yeah.
would be going crazy. But you know, if you got a couple of years down here to chill and then start your career or whatever, do you think you'll want to go to LA or New York in like 5 years? Or do you think by then it will be such a different culture that you'll like change your life plan?
Yeah, because it does depend on like what I think is like happening there. Because like years ago, I feel like Hollywood was or LA was the place for like filming and stuff. Now it's like New York has come into play. now like New York has a lot of stuff. And now I think Atlanta's popping up. It's gonna be popping up more.
Right. What's helpful if you listen to this is a career take, most career take I've ever heard in my life. If you listen to more podcasts, Gary, you know what would help you? Because you get the career experience, like hearing these guys or women talk about their careers in New York, in Los Angeles, and wherever they are. And like, because I kind of want to be like all the podcasts I listen to, I'm interested in their careers, similarly to how you would be interested in like the filmmaker's career of a podcast you listen to. And I think it would be helpful if you listen to filmmakers talk about their jobs and shit, because you could probably get a big understanding of like what specifically do I want to do in like the film industry, you know? And you could probably get insight if you listen to um
You know, what you
people
should do?
talk about that. What?
You should like find me podcasts.
True, yeah. Yeah, I should listen. I should find one that's about film that would help you, like, because yeah, I bet if you were always listening to people talk about like making films and the industry and shit, you would always be thinking about that more in depth than if you were just doing it academically, you know?
Mm.
Because doesn't
Well,
that
I mean,
change in your mind if you think of an academic path versus like just like literally just being a filmmaker with no like
yeah. Well, I
academic
mean,
path?
I don't want to go down that academic route at all.
Well, you are currently doing that. You're about
Well,
halfway done and you're gonna finish it.
well, like that's what I'm doing now, but like I don't want to be a professor.
No, I meant academic path as in the way to like
Oh, okay.
get in the industry, like academic, instead of just like like working, not focusing on like getting a degree for it, just like working
Mm.
in it, you know? And yeah, I think if, yeah, I'll try to find a podcast or some shit and then that talks about like the industry because there's like some that I listen to, at least clips of about the music industry, and listening to that is so helpful to like understand like how shit works, you know? Because you're basically just listening to insiders talk about like their work, which I like. I
Yeah.
really just
Or
want to
like,
be good at something, you know?
or like I see on TikTok or whatever about people in the film industry and they're like just interns or whatever. And
Exactly.
it's just like, okay, that's what I don't want to do. It's like,
Yeah.
and
So
then
yeah,
they make
yeah, yeah.
shitty like short films. Or I mean, not all of them are shitty, but like just like not good short films or whatever.
And also, what sucks is that
And I'm like, I don't want to do that. So,
the art world is filled with pedophiles and just people who are trying to rape you. So it's like I would actually expect most of media is that, and the smaller part, the minority, is actually people like trying to do good art. You know?
I mean, like, with studio heads and everything, like
Yeah.
trying to get a film made,
Yeah,
like
and
Harvey
most of them do
Weinstein.
that. Most of them do that as shit. It's flipped, bro. I don't know. It makes me. It gives me such like a doomer mindset to think about how shit works. You know,
Mhm.
because if you think about it, the goal, like any actual way you're gonna have a sizable amount of money to like do projects that you want to do, you'll have to focus more on like the business aspect of it rather than the like the
Yeah,
artistic aspect of it.
there's like a business class, like film financing and distribution class that I'm gonna take.
Yeah, and I don't know, like, because I'm only 19, I don't know what the right path is to like, should you learn about the business side and focus on that equally as much as you focus on the artistic side of your like craft? Or should you just focus on the artistic side of the craft only and then you'll be like purely an artist? I don't know what's like the right
But
method.
I mean, it should def you should because I don't want to go into you shouldn't go into an industry not knowing the business side of it.
Really?
I don't want to go because like if I go into this and I'm like, okay, how do I get a studio to budget my film? How do I get it distributed? I'm not gonna know any of it. That's like, so then how am I gonna
Do you think
have
that,
people see this or how am I gonna get money to film it?
hmm but
So I
don't you
mean,
think that's like a perpetuating like cycle of,
I mean, as long as you don't let the business side affect your artistic
well,
side.
it does. Like the point is that it purely is like the thing affecting the artistic side. Like the reason why most people aren't like just artists is because of the business side of their life, which is they can't afford to live without having any money, you know? And most people do anything. Get most people the reason why they get up is just to have like go to work to have money to survive.
But you can with this business side and artistic side, you can definitely see it in films, like with Hallmark movies. That's definitely like
With what Hallmark?
Hallmark, like Christmas.
Yeah.
It's definitely like just for the money. It's not for any artistic
Hmm.
thing or all
But
anything like that.
yeah.
Or and then you see like films like Nora or whatever, and that's more creative.
Hmm.
Is they they like sacrificed a lot to make this movie, and like it wasn't a big budget or anything like that. And they still like
Hmm.
you know
Yeah, I guess it's mostly
it's just like how you want as a filmmaker.
I guess it's mostly about how you view like what your actions were. Like if
Mhm.
you made a movie and it didn't make that much money, but you like
Yeah.
really loved making that movie, then it's worth it, honestly.
Like,
You know, like
for example, like this is kind of an exaggeration, but
yeah,
like if I want this actor in this movie that I'm making, and like my budget is like 5 million or whatever, and he wants his salary to be like half of that, and be like, no, you're fired. I don't want you if you're gonna steal half my budget. I don't know,
hmm.
you know,
Do you think that
or like, and then like finding actors that like aren't just working for the money is also something.
well, I think that's like the idea. I think that's like a paradox. Finding an
Yeah.
actor that is quote unquote not working for the money, they
I mean,
either they have to already have the money, and to have that money, they already have to have work for the money. You know what I'm saying? So like if you so it's a catch 22 to be an artist. Like that's why I vibe so much with the Renaissance era, like men. Like think like Renaissance era man, where you're a sculptor, a painter, a writer, this and that, like everything. That's like my goal. I want to be like I want to just do everything, and I don't want to just have like a specialized job. Like in the West nowadays, everything is increasingly specialized, and you can't have multiple skills and just live your life doing multiple things at one time.
and
You have to kind of
that's
like
like,
pick one aspect and focus on that.
yeah, and that's like kind of cool to see like which actor you can definitely tell. Well, for me, I can definitely tell like if this actor did it because they like the script and everything, and the story, or they're just doing it purely just for a check. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
they do it for a check nonetheless, but just like bottom line.
Yeah, yeah. And don't you think that over time, like the proportionally, the amount of people doing it for the money and doing it for the craft, I think the even the idea that the money is an aspect in the equation of it, I
Mhm.
think over time is just more money based. And I feel like it's just even less and less artistically based every year.
Yep, it's definitely turning towards. And then with like streaming services, and like with and like they can make movies now. It's even like
Hmm.
worse. It's
Like back in the
like Netflix.
40s,
Like I hate Netflix movies so much.
yeah, yeah, but then also widen your aspect what you're looking at. Like even in the early golden era of Hollywood, that was even shitty. Like most of that was
Mhm.
just like pedophiles, like you're just raping women and boys and then making movies and just doing it all for the money, making like shitty ass
Yeah.
movies. And we only regard
And
some
I
of
think
those as
it's
yeah,
so I think it's in a circle like in Hollywood,
yeah.
like the 40s and 50s. It was like really it was like that, and then became the 60s and the 70s with like the
Which
French
was
New
also
Wave and all.
no. That was also all filled with like I don't think there's ever been a time. I think the creation of like the media, music industry, film industry, television was to siphon out talent, um, creativity, and money from the upper working class, you know? Like anybody who
Mhm.
had enough generational wealth to let their kids go into those industries eventually got so destroyed that they like damaged, they pretty much, those industries damage like every person in them, you know, because they're like inhuman.
So you don't think that like well, you don't know any French New Wave films. Have you ever seen a French New Wave film, for instance?
No.
Okay, so you really do. So if you dispute my claim that like French New, for instance, the French New Wave was like a rebuttal against like Hollywood and all that, then I mean you can't really.
Can you explain why you think it was a rebuttal against Hollywood?
Well, I mean it was cool because my point was I think we're going in like a circle that like now right now we're going back to old Hollywood days really with like making big studio movies like just making a bunch of money towards that like doing all that and I think soon eventually we're going to be getting this new generation which could be like my generation or alpha generation filmmakers coming in to like disrupt it and like make and do what for instance the French New Wave did.
Is it disruption if it's just a repeat of history?
I don't know because I think we just get lost in the cycle so we have to get this and then this strain we have to get like disrupted
Hmm. Yeah, it
once
definitely
again.
feels like the media cycle is like lost nowadays. You know what I'm saying? Like we definitely used to have it, and it was prevalent, and now it's just kind of going away. And now, just like the internet is like normal people's hill, you know, and the actual hill, which is divinely protected, like you can't get there unless you're nonverbal autistic. So you're stuck to being in the internet with everybody, where it's horrible and it's not divinely protected. Do you think there's ever gonna be just like a complete change of the like the system that Hollywood exists the way it exists now? Do you think it'll ever?
No,
No.
no, I don't
See
think so.
that the re I don't think the culture will change if the business side of it doesn't ever change, you know?
I feel like we're gonna maybe it's just because I want it, but I feel like we're gonna get back to like the
Well, if you want it, it's pretty much up to you to create it. You can probably create a new wave. They can call it the Carry New Wave, Carry New Wave cinema.
well like now we're kind of seeing this because the French New Wave was just like in the 60s and 70s there's a bunch of like
Carrie, imagine if you were like, well, now we're kind of seeing like a sort of Carrie new wave.
well with like the 60s and 70s there's a bunch of smaller shoestring budget movies and stuff and those were the ones that were becoming so really popular and everything. And I
Hmm.
think we're starting to see that now again with
Really,
smaller studios,
really.
with like film festivals. Because like for example, um there's a movie that came out called A Real Pain.
Hmm.
And like that's not this big huge Hollywood or Nora, for instance, that was like this very small budgeted movie, or The Brutalist, that was very small budgeted. Like look at all these like
But do you think those films with their small budgets actually have impacted like the culture at all, or do you think the impact of culture has only been from like the biggest budget films like Avatar,
I think it's I think
Titanic?
it's I think it's also saying that like you don't have to have like $20 million to make a movie.
Well, I don't think you do. I think, but I'm talking more about the impact. Like, do you think movies that don't have such a budget impact the culture as much as ones that do have such a large budget, especially on the marketing side? Like, movies that are small budget don't have enough for marketing, so they
Well, yeah,
rarely get marketed as much
the
as big
the
movies.
director on the Brutalist, he's I think I saw something where he's been like paying for marketing himself out of
Hmm.
his pocket.
So, do you think the director paying out of his pocket, do you think that's like necessarily good, or do you think it's bad? Because to me, it seems like the money is the main mover and who knows about your film, and not the actual artistic integrity of your film.
Well, I mean, maybe well, like I mean, The Brutalist, I haven't seen it, but what I've seen from it, it's like really, beautiful, well shot film, and it's very of that and everything. But for me, it just kind of says, it kind of gives me hope that like I don't need, that I won't need to like try to scour and find, like make this big, huge, big budget film. I just like follow my passion, my artistic passion
Hmm.
for film, and I make a good movie that I think it's good, and it doesn't have to be this big, huge budget thing.
Hmm.
It can,
Yeah,
it's,
individually I agree with you, but I
but
think
it's, but I
if
mean,
if Carrie had to compete, if Carrie's like movie had to compete with like Steven Spielberg, like his big budget movie, like every time you know which one would win, like in
okay, well,
the market.
okay, for example, like Jurassic Park versus, well, maybe not Jurassic Park, or like a modern day big budget film, like
The Avengers, Avengers,
versus,
Infinity
yeah,
War.
yeah, versus like Nora, well, one which like,
Mhm. So my point is, don't you think Avengers Infinity War, for example, has more of a cultural impact than Nora? And I also believe, without even seeing Nora, I believe it probably has more heart and soul in it than a Marvel movie. So
yeah,
I'm basically saying like the money is such a mover of
or,
inhuman
or like
projects that
even
it
right
just
now,
pushes fake shit.
or like even right now, like Captain America and the new one that just came out.
Okay.
Wasn't there a new there's a new Captain America movie that just came out. So like that versus Nora, like,
Honestly, though, the only difference I'm thinking about right now, one that just came up to me was if you're an audience member, like if you saw Nora versus like a Marvel movie, maybe the impact personally is like better because it's an actual, it's probably a better film. Like I would expect lower budget films are
it's like
generally,
they
hmm?
have more heart and soul put into them than
Yeah, I agree. Well, this has been a good talk, and I think you have to write a lot. Yeah.
this doesn't get like
What?
deleted.
Wait, what?
Hopefully this doesn't get like deleted.
Yeah, this one won't because we didn't talk about the C word.
That's why what's the scene?
COVID.
Uh,
I
that's
can
why
we can never talk about the boop boop anymore, you know what I'm saying?
that's
Never mention that.
that's why I was going on this path instead of that path. So
Yeah. Maybe this is a good to be an art show and not a medical misinformation show. I don't know. Yeah.
well,
But
I mean it might get put down because of your use of
what
a word.
possibly, yeah. But I don't think they're that 1984 yet. I think they still let you say retarded.
Safe. Oh, did you
But
see?
yeah.
Oh, I did have. Did you see that Shingles is hosting as well?
Yeah, you sent me that and I was like, yep.
So I'm curious because this episode
Carrie,
last time.
you're like the fucking Joe Biden texting me, yo, Karu, you see fucking Shane Gillis, man. And I was like, yeah, I saw it, Grandpa. I saw it.
I just because when I'm like on my phone or whatever, and I see like, oh, Crew knows that guy. I'm gonna send that to him because he knows him.
Yeah. Okay.
That's,
Well, thank you. I do know him. You got it right. And good job.
dude, I'm genuinely am like a grandma.
Yeah. No, I think that's just a human thing where it's like if
Yeah,
something relates to somebody, you want to tell them. Um, yeah. There's, I could get into a whole nother topic right now, but
what's
I don't.
happening?
The tall whites.
So what?
Exactly. What is that? What could it be? Should I
Wait,
say it?
do you
What?
want to do? Do you want to do it on like Saturday or something?
Yeah, good idea. I'm gonna study up for Saturday. Actually, I'm hanging out with Alan, so we have to Saturday. We have to do it like let's do it at 12 or 11. Okay,
Okay.
so you gotta be
You
up.
don't want to do it with Helen?
Oh, maybe, yeah. Maybe he could just come up here and yeah, that might be fun. But we
And
I
then
only have this one mic, so
you guys can just like put it in the
yeah,
middle.
just pass it back and forth.
And then you just do that.
That'd be funny.
And
Just
then
we both talking it like this, like right next to each other.
um and then you're gonna be up here for your spring break.
Hmm. Should
And
we
then you're gonna
record? Should we do an episode then?
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, why not?
Um, yeah.
I
Okay.
mean, or if you
See
want to
you,
like
Carrie.
if you want to be in like two separate rooms and just like
That would be funny. That would be funny. Or if we just sat right next to each other, so like the Zoom camera was like boom, boom. That'd be funny too. But yeah,
you should but you sing Alan this weekend.
mhm.
You sing Alan this weekend.
Saturday.
You should see if he wants to.
Yeah, I'll time it. Yeah, I'll tell you. Yeah, get
Oh,
that day.
I have another thing to say about the telepathy thing.
Sure. Yeah. Say it. I'm about to shoot myself. Say it, Carrie.
No, literally say it.
I've been
Um,
drinking coffee. I'm about to bust.
okay.
Tell
I
me.
do also think it also relates to like shyer kids or quieter kids who don't talk
The
as
fuck
well.
is a Shire kid?
Like shy kids or
Oh, I
quiet
thought
kids.
you said Shire as in like, oh, Yorkshire. Like Shire, like from old English speak. Anyway, shy kids. Tell me about them.
Because like they can like growing up or whatever. I felt like I can read body language better than like, Kirsten, for instance.
Hmm.
Aside
Yeah,
from like sort of,
I feel like Kirsten's more tactile,
but
especially with information.
she can like communicate more than
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Commer
talking.
I said Kirsten instead of communing. Kirsten communicated.
That's how cute to end this, I think.
Yeah, yeah. Kirsten. She's good at communicating.
Actually, I have to go see her right now.
Hmm.
She wants me to come see her.
But okay. Bye, Carrie. So
See
ending
ya.
it with a good sigh, a nice hearty sigh.